first Bucks at Grizzlies. Jarrell Martin and JaMychal Green team up for the alley-oop.
This was a great highlight. It also might be the final highlight of the 2018 Memphis Grizzlies season. They've lost 18 games in a row and do not look interested.
Isn't there an easier way to get them in the highlights when you lose with that kind of consistency?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a hell of an alley-oop, though. I mean, good moment for them.
Are they tanking or are they just losing?
Both. It's tanking intentionally and unintentionally.
Kings Thunder. Check out the dunk by Russell Westbrook. Triple-double night for him. Thunder won the game.
Russell, don't be so mad,
So
man.
angry.
Like, don't be so mad, bruh. Assaulting the rim.
That is the best way to put it. Russell Westbrook assaults the rim on a nightly basis. When he dunks the ball, it's like he's trying to physically injure the inanimate object of the
He
rim.
also assaults designers and fashion every night.
Oh. See,
assaulting them.
Fall back.
Same game. Wait, watch the feed. Watch the feed.
Oh.
By Russ.
Oh, look at that. Look at Syracuse product, Jeremy Grant. That's what you're going to see in the play-in game in a couple nights now against Arizona State. Syracuse products booming on people.
Oh, yeah, they're doing so well, they're in the play-in game. Let's go, Chiefs.
Let's go. Go get it, Russ. Go get it, Grant.
Time now for some in or out. The Vikings are reaching out to Drew Brees to gauge his interest level. Someone has to try and follow up Case Keenum. CC, you in or out on Drew Brees making the Vikings the best team in the NFL?
Oh, this is easy for me. I'm out. And the reason why, the Philadelphia Eagles, I still believe in them. I mean, they were just crowned Super Bowl champs. We're just going to take that away from them. And, oh, excuse me, they did that with their backup. Let's not forget who their starter is, and that is Carson Wentz. They would have won the Super Bowl if they had Carson Wentz. So, yes, the Eagles, because they're dominant, offensive and defensive lines, are the best team still in the NFC.
I think that if the Vikings got Drew Brees, they'd be the best team. And I know that I should have learned my lesson on doubting Philadelphia.
Yeah,
however,
you should have just put Philadelphia in there. I mean, you owe them one, too.
I do owe them one or two. However, the Vikings, to me, had the second best defense in football last year behind the Jags. They have a great pair of wide receivers in Thielen and Diggs. They've got a great running back coming back they didn't even get the benefit of last year in Dalvin Cook, or at least benefit of the last couple games, or except for the first couple games. Drew Brees, top 5 quarterback in this league still. If he were to go to Minnesota, to me, they would become the prohibitive favorite in all of pro football. My guess is, though, the Saints, after hearing Minnesota reach out, the Saints reportedly this morning are like, yo, Drew, let's get this thing done before the deadline. So Drew Brees, by the end of today, probably re-signs with New Orleans.
All right, moving on to the Broncos. Case Keenum is signing with Denver, and now I have a new favorite team. Nick, you in or out on Broncos still drafting a quarterback despite signing Case Keenum? They have that five pick.
They have the 5th pick of the draft. I am in on them drafting a quarterback, not with the 5th pick of the first round, but with the 5th pick of the second round. I think Lamar Jackson would be an excellent understudy to Case Keenum. I don't think you want Lamar to start year one, but these are guys who people, both of them, different levels obviously, excelled in college. Questions about them as pro quarterbacks. Both of them make a lot of great plays outside of the pocket, as Jenna would call it, off schedule, and you can learn from him there. And it's not like the Broncos are long-term invested in Case Keenum. He's 30 years old, signed him to, I think, a 3-year deal. So I would still draft a quarterback, just not with the 5th pick. I would do it in the second round.
I like Lamar Jackson and the value in the second round. I like the fact where he's working under a mobile quarterback. This is what I don't like the fact. They've already spent a lot of resources as far as first-round picks and draft picks on the quarterback room that they have now. Now, whoever's coaching the quarterbacks in Denver, these kids have not gotten better. So now I put a guy who needs strong quarterback coaching in a room where they haven't had strong quarterback coaching. So for that aspect, I'm not as excited about Lamar going there in the second round, but I do like the value. You get Lamar Jackson in the beginning of the second round, I believe that's great value.
But you're out on the idea of the Broncos spending the 5th pick on a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Now they've signed the case.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Ndamukong Suh is expected to be released by the Miami Dolphins today. He only made it 3 years into a 6-year, $114 million deal. CC, you in or out on Sue making a big difference for a Super Bowl contender?
And I'm out. I don't believe in Ndamukong Suh at this point in his career or any point in his career that he's going to be a great locker room guy. And when you're talking about a guy who's made the type of money that he's made at this point in his career, you need some type of leadership. He's only a situational player. That being in running situations. He is not a threat to get to the quarterback. So you have a one-dimensional player. I believe most NFL teams are going to try to duplicate what Jim Schwartz did there in Philadelphia, where you have 7 players playing 400 snaps during the duration of an NFL season. That right there, I believe, is more functional. And Ndamukong Suh, too much money for a limited player.
You're out.
I'm in because I think what has been held against Ndamukong Suh is he's not as good as he used to be, but he's still better than 90% of the D tackles in football. And he wasn't worth $23 million a year, but he might be worth a third of that, $7 to $8 million a year. Let me name a team that I think is just what would it look like. What about one of the most aggressive teams in free agency, Los Angeles Rams? What about putting him next to Aaron Donald? And all of a sudden, you've got, what, 650 pounds of D tackles, one of the best pass rushing D tackles.
Did Aaron Donald do a new contract?
That's why you got to get him cheaply. That's why I said $7 million. That's still too expensive. Can I get you for $6 million?
Let me tell you.
What about $5 million?
Let me tell you what's going to happen for $6 million. And Ndamukong Suh is going to come on this show and stomp your face.
Okay, all right.
Okay?
All right, he's made too much money to play for $6 million.
And I don't think he enhances younger players. The defensive front that he went to in Miami was a good defensive front. They thought they were adding the best defensive player in the NFL, and they would get closer to New England. They didn't get any closer to
That's
New
fair.
England. So for me, trying to add him to a championship team, no sirree. I'm not a believer.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the NBA now. Marcus Smart might miss extended time with a thumb injury. Also, Kyrie Irving will miss a game with knee soreness. Nick, you in or out on the Celtics having a chance to win the East despite injuries?
I am out. Marcus Smart is a very important player to this team. His individual stats don't say so, but the team. Best defense in the league by a wide margin when he plays. Not a top 5 defense when he doesn't play. Their win percentage goes from one of the 4 best in basketball when he plays to outside of the top 7 when he doesn't play. Like, he is what CeCe called a glue guy. Plus, Kyrie all of a sudden missing games with knee soreness. Daniel Theis all of a sudden is injured and I believe done for the year. Like, this team that one of their positives was depth is getting a lot less deep. And so for all those reasons, I am out.
And not like Kevin Love, who had a broken bone, who is a great shooter. This guy is one of the worst shooters in the NBA. So now he's got an injured thumb. Not only is time coming back, how aggressive can he be in his forte playing defense? That's going to be a problem. And he was already having a problem shooting with a healthy hand. So now we got damaged ligaments in his thumb. I believe that's going to be an ongoing problem. He is a critical part of the Celtics and their young players developing. I'm out.
So what do you think? He's not going to be a better shooter when he comes back from injury?
No. Maybe he'll shoot left-handed.
That could be an improvement.
That's pathetic. To the NCAA tournament now. The tournament kicks off Thursday with Oklahoma taking on Rhode Island. Get your brackets done, people. They are led by one of the most exciting players in college basketball, Trae Young. CeCe, you in or out on Trae Young being able to carry Oklahoma to the Sweet 16?
This is what I'm in about.
No.
I'm in on Trae being a great story for college basketball for half of the season. I'm in even deeper as far as the relationship that he has with his dad. If you want to talk about father-son combinations, an exceptional connection that they have, man, his dad was a former college basketball player, coached him until he got to Oklahoma. I'm totally in on that. As far as them advancing, they have not won a road game since the calendar year went to 2018, Jenna. So great story, but he's in a rather cold shooting slump. Good story. No, I'm out on them reaching the Sweet 16.
Luckily for Oklahoma, there are no road games in the NCAA tournament, just neutral site games. So I am in. They're not at home, but they're not technically on the road either, right? They're neutral site games. Little parsing of the language there, but that's fine. This is not Tyson Wheeler's Rhode Island team, America. Trae Young could catch fire. God, I hope he catches fire. This could be a great story. He was one of the best stories of the sports year until the calendar. He was one of the best stories of 2017. Not as good of a story in 2018. He can change all that with a great weekend this weekend. I haven't filled out my bracket, but I will have Oklahoma in the Sweet 16, so I am in.
Awesome.
You choose the story of him and his dad.
That is
Great
something you definitely should do. Following my bracket advice? Maybe not.
Coming up, Richard Sherman is buying the Jimmy G hype, but are we? Are you? Is anyone? Next on First Things First.
Was Tyson Wheeler the Rhode Island player like 25 years ago? Did I pull that? Deontay, our